One of the things I've said a number of times is that Donald Trump is like old white man kryptonite. I don't know why it is, but he just makes old white conservative men lose it. Like they look at him and understand something. I have personal experience with this. My dad. So I don't know if I've ever told this story publicly before, but I'll tell everybody. It's actually really interesting. So I don't know, maybe 12 years old or something like that when my mom and my dad split up and got a divorce. And my dad started dating somebody after him and my mom split up. And she worked at a Trump golf course running the pro shop. Interesting, right? And so, my dad was able to play at the golf course every now and then, which is kind of crazy because the Trump courses were, supposedly very exclusive, high membership fees. He was able to not even be a member and play it a few times, right? But my dad was able to meet Trump once or twice, something like that, at one of his golf courses. And this was before Trump was political. Honestly, almost in any way, shape, or form. This is before any of the birther nonsense. Like, this is, way back. Maybe he was political to one extent or another, but it certainly wasn't when he was, like, nationally known for being political or whatever. But there's something about that, like, fake macho man bravado thing, like the capitalist boss man shtick, that old white conservative guys, they lose it in their pants. They just think, like, that's the guy I want to be. That's the boss man. Like, he's what old conservative white men aspire to be. Like, what if I wore a suit and tie all the time and just barked orders and told people what to do and had people waiting on me every second of my life? What if I was simultaneously a pampered little prick while also being the boss man? Like, this is old conservative white man, just the dream, right? And so my dad met him, and I didn't. I saw him one time at a golf course, but I didn't meet him. I just literally saw him, like, walk by. Kind of crazy, right? Again, this was way before he was I was like a child at the time. I was probably like, I don't know, 11, something like that. Anyway, so and my dad told me about meeting him after the fact, and he was glowing. He was glowing. I mean, there's something about that guy. He's old white man kryptonite. And I've often said that if my dad had, lived long enough to see what I do for a living and all that, and see how successful a show became or whatever, he would be the most torn person ever. Because, look, he loves his kids, absolutely. I have no doubt he would have, like, celebrated the success of the show and maybe watched some stuff and tried to call me and give me news stories cover or whatever in very awkward ways, and the stories would make no sense. Anyway, but, like, he would love it, but then he'd also probably love Trump. He'd be like a classic Trump guy, and he would somehow love me, even though I shit on Trump all the time, but also still support Trump and like Trump. Old white man kryptonite. Anyway, so now you're seeing, this is like, you couldn't have made this moment in a lab to better illustrate my point, right? Like, this is chef's kiss, the embodiment of the point I just made. So here's this guy. He's a former judge. He goes on Kimberly Guilfoyle's show, which, by the way, LOL, she has a show. And just look at how fawning he is. This is really something special.
Like a banana republic. Where are the bananas? Where are the bananas? How do you do this? There's nothing here. But Trump, whether you like him or not, has the eye of a tiger. He's got steel testicles, this guy. He goes in the morning in front of a judge in the morning to be arraigned. That same day, he goes on national TV to discuss his state of affairs. Mm-hmm. Any other person charged with a crime in America would be lying in bed taking a Prozac. This guy goes on TV. He has the strength, the fortitude to go on TV and discuss what's going on. He's blooming. He's engaged. This is the guy you want in a foxhole with you, Trump.
Imagine believing that last part. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy who's really going to charge into enemy gunfire and look out for his fellow soldiers. He's definitely not going to be the guy who's taking all the credit, but also, hiding 300 yards away. Imagine, it's unbelievable. This guy over here, let me tell you about this guy over here. It's unbelievable. He's got testicles of steel. He's got a big, hard, long cock. I want to touch it. I want to touch his cock. I want to caress his cock. That's what I want to do. I want to play with it. I want to perform fellatio on him. That's what I want to do. It's unbelievable, this guy. Can you imagine? He's so hot. I think he's so hot. He makes me horny. Oh, this is so sad. Do you see what I'm saying, though? This is exactly the thing I'm referring to. And by the way, on any given day, somewhere in the United States of America, there's a guy saying, like, a very similar thing to somebody in their family who, by the way, doesn't even want to have the conversation at all. They're trying to watch SportsCenter or some shit, right? And then their dad's like, you believe this guy? He's got some big balls. I wish I had his balls. Oh, he's the boss man. Oh, I wish I was like him. Oh, he's totally not faking the whole thing. Like, this... What is it about the like forced macho man fake bravado? You think Trump isn't scared with what's going on right now? You really think this public face of like, I never did anything wrong to anybody. I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything wrong. Never did anything wrong to anybody ever. The most perfect phone call that anybody's ever made. The most perfect classified documents anybody's ever had. I totally had the right to take them. You think that this stuff he's putting out there, like, that's how he actually feels? No, he's terrified. I'm sure he's terrified. Of course he's terrified. But it's all face value with these people. Like I said, he wears a suit, right? He like owned the Miss America pageant or something. He's got all these businesses. Half of them were scams, by the way, right? Trump University is Trump charity. Like, but to these people, it's all face value. Oh, he's fighting back. He's so strong. Oh, he barks orders at people, and he takes no advice from anybody ever. He's a total colossal idiot, but that's strength. It's amazing. It's very like monkey brain stuff, right? Where it's just like, all you have to do is, me, king of jungle. And they're like, oh, king of jungle, yes, yes. Old, white, conservative man kryptonite. That is what Donald Trump is. You couldn't create somebody in a lab that more embodied that archetype. You know, that's what he is. He's their idol. People like this, he's their idol. And it's so sad, because imagine that's what you look up to. That's who you want to be. It's so vapid, you know? It's an authoritarian dream, authoritarian archetype. Imagine being born into a tremendous amount of money, never earning anything in your life, just wearing a suit and barking orders and being an idiot. But since you're overconfident, it like hypnotizes all the old white conservative men in America. Anyway, there you have it. I don't think I'm going too far. I think all this stuff is actually spot on. And this weird fawning praise is just too perfect, and it proves the point exactly. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.